Hello, everybody. Um, I'm currently in Act 2 right now. I just finished my Ascendancy and I'm, slowly making my way through. And I thought now would be a pretty good time to kind of give my opinions on the game so far. And as a player who has never, I've never played, I'm new to the IP as well as just the genre in general. I don't believe I've ever played an ARPG, let alone Path of Exile. And so, as a new player, I thought I'd kind of give my opinions on it. So, first of all, I'm really enjoying the game. I'm having a ton of fun playing. I think it's really, really good. Now, graphically, I think it looks really good. I think everything is very well done. It doesn't seem like they cut any corners. It feels good to play. It looks good to play. In terms of gameplay, like I said, it feels good. It's the movement's fluid. Everything feels like it's doing what it's supposed to do. When I cast abilities, they cast. They look great and they do what they're supposed to do. The movement, very fluid. Alright? It's not clunky, it's not awkward. It's just really, really solid, very fluid. You know, and along with that, with the fluid movement and abilities, it that goes into making the combat feel really good. When a wave of enemies comes and jumps you and you just kind of mow them down, it's a very satisfying experience, at least for me. I really enjoy that, and it doesn't get old. Line them up and watch them fall. That's what I say, and it is extremely satisfying to do that. Now, um, you know, I also like how a lot of the abilities synergize with each other very well. For example, you've got your wall of fire, and I can throw all of my sparks through it, and now if you look, they all have a flame. Along with, to go along with that, there's also Orb of Storms. Again, it uh, it very much synergizes with my abilities as well. It's the way that the abilities work, the way that everything functions in the game. It feels right, and it feels like significant, right? Nothing I do in the game feels pointless. I'm not throwing out abilities and they're just not doing anything. Everything feels effective and very, very, important, right? Long story short, it feels good to play. Um, the bosses, I think, are really good. I'm gonna pause for a minute. I think the bosses feel really good. Um, they they're all very unique in design. I love the way they look. Mechanically, they all have very unique mechanics. Even if some of the abilities may seem similar, obviously you have like the forward slash, and ranged attacks, all that stuff. But to go along with that, most of the abilities have different mechanics mixed in. For example, you have the count, and when he's in his wolf form, he'll do like a frost cone attack, and that slows you down. Or like he does the kind of like the ice drops or whatever, beams from the sky. And if you get them at low, if you get them down low enough, those turn into what I assume is like blood beams or red beams. Um, and everything looks, as I said before, everything looks and feels very fluid, very good. The fights are all very engaging, and no matter what it may look like, I have been having a lot of fun going through them. In terms of like looting, I didn't play POE 1, but from what I understand is it's a bit oversaturated in loot. And so obviously that's a big difference from here. I don't believe it's undersaturated. I've never felt like I'm in a drought. I always feel like there's enough loot and it's always dropping when it needs to be. I don't feel like I'm farming nothing, right? When I kill enemies, I'm getting enough loot to where it very much feels right. I'm not thinking, damn, I think there should be more. It just, I feel like they've balanced the game very well. I only started playing, less than a week ago, to be fair. So, I mean, the game's been out since early December, so they've had, about 2 weeks to kind of like fine tune and balance things out. And, maybe that's what's going on here. But, I feel like if even if that is the case, they've done a really good job of balancing the game in terms of like in terms of loot or even difficulty. I don't. I know that early on, a lot of people are saying the game's really difficult. I've never really felt that way. At times I've struggled a bit, but I've never felt like it was too difficult. It feels honestly, it feels just right. Everything about this game feels just right. I'm really, really happy with what they've done with it so far. And, maybe I'll hit some point later on in the campaign and be like, fuck this shit. You know, this is ridiculous. But so far, it is been far from that. As far as the story goes, most of Act One I didn't really pay attention to. I've been trying to follow the story a little closer in Act One I did not pay attention. In Act Two I've been trying to follow the story a little closer. I've been paying more attention, and I've kind of been able to fill in bits and pieces of what I might have missed in Act One. But I think from what I can tell, it's a decent story, a pretty compelling story. I'm enjoying it a lot, even without the story, just the campaign in general. Just kind of like moving through there didn't even need to be a story if you put me in the game and just had me moving through the maps without any kind of rhyme or reason, I think I would still enjoy the game quite a bit. To go along with that, though, I do really, really like the voice acting. I feel like they put a lot of work into really making this world come alive. The voice actors sound unique. They feel like they're real. Yeah, I mean, the characters feel like they're real. In the sense that it just doesn't sound like they're not generic voices. They're not like each character has been voiced in a specific way to create, that tone, that mood to, especially like within the different regions. We started off in Clearwater, and and I don't know exactly how to describe the voices there, but it feels it feels like there's effort, and I really appreciate that, and I think they did a really good job, like especially into Act Two. With the way they've done the voice acting and the dialogue, it really, it makes the story and the everything that's going on that much better. I think because it feels natural. I think is probably the best way to explain it. Is when they speak, it doesn't sound like that's just a person who's doing voice lines. It sounds like a person who is from this world. I guess is probably the best way to say it. Um, one thing that I think they should add to the game, and I really don't think this would be reductive to the experience at all. Um, but um, you know, the shop resets on every level. Um, and I feel like that is not emphasized enough. Um, you know, I apparently there's some dialogue in there that explains it. I don't remember. I don't recall. Like I said, I skipped through a lot of the dialogue in Act 1. But I think especially for newer players and very early on, it's a big benefit if you're aware of this. I knew about it coming into the game because I had watched videos about it and watched streamers play it, but the as I played the game, I kind of forgot about that. And I was kind of struggling with kind of like scaling with my gear and whatnot. And I was like, "Oh shit. I haven't checked the shop in a while." So I feel like the shop, I feel like what you could do, right? You could have like a little refresh icon in the corner of the shop, and basically if you like click or hover over it, it'll say, refreshes on every level up. Or even better, what I think they should do is every time you level up, you should get like a small little notification either at the bottom of the screen or, in the corner where it says, check the shop for new items. I really don't think that would be reductive to the experience, and it would be really helpful for new players to kind of remind them, like, hey, feeling underpowered, go check the shop because you should be able to get there's possibly some new gear available that could seriously improve your character and your experience. Um, so that's about it for right now. I really look forward to playing the rest of the game, and I can't wait to see what is to come in the future.